And now, CCW News presents Holy Crap, This Is Actually Happening! Implausible Deniability Edition, April 16th, 2023. I'm Chuck U. Farley. The big news this week is the capture of the alleged classified document leaker. No, his name is not Biden. Biden doesn't leak. He hemorrhages. 21-year-old Jack Teixeira, a low-level member of the Massachusetts Air National Guard, was arrested at his home on Thursday after authorities found that he had been posting top-secret documents on a Minecraft-focused Discord server. I swear, they are making this up. The miraculous discovery of proof of the current regime's lying, funding, and fighting in Ukraine's losing war was found on a social media site just days after Congress failed to pass an overreaching spying and censorship bill that would have rivaled the CCP, which runs TikTok, which was the Trojan horse used to pose the bill in the first place. This reporter is making no accusations or judgments, as it makes total sense that a low-level reservist barely old enough to buy beer had access to highly sensitive documents that could lead to World War III, which he decided to upload to a gamer site where, apparently, Mountain Dew-infused Cheeto-fingered gamers in Russia could access them from their parents' basements and get them directly to Putin, thus thwarting a nuclear war. Teixeira was arrested on Thursday and came before a judge on Friday for charges of, quote, unauthorized retention and transmission of national defense information and willful retention of classified documents, end quote. He did not enter a plea. I would not enter a plea either, as obviously none is needed according to current standards. Essentially, he's charged with not securing top-secret government documents properly, such as stashed in a remote college office, behind the refrigerator in your summer home, or in a box next to your Corvette. In the Who Has Two Thumbs and said this was happening under Biden department, China is moseying on into Taiwan unabated. The peaceful reunification, as they're calling it, smells like bat soup cooked next to a U.S.-funded gain-of-function virus lab. Earlier this week, Elon Musk temporarily changed his Twitter name to Harry Balls, admitting that he did so only because he wanted the fake media to have to report on it. And then they did. And then we did. Speaking of double entendres, Elon Musk teased a BBC reporter during a live-streamed interview by asking him if he did, indeed, join BBC. This was sadly the only high point of the interview for the reporter, as the rest of the interview was him proving himself a tribal, lying fool. The BBC, NPR, and PBS all whined about being called state-funded media and or publicly funded media, which they are, and have since rage quit Twitter by posting it on Twitter. In what many news outlets reported as a shockingly heartwarming show of solidarity with Joe Biden and the Catholic Church, Tibetan Buddhist leader the Dalai Lama requested that a young boy suck his tongue. This, of course, sparked much outrage and pearl-clutching on the right, as the left has gotten so adept at child abuse that it's simply expected. Tibetans and those familiar with the culture were quick to point out that A, the spiritual leader barely speaks English, so he meant eat, not suck, and B, the expression is a cultural joke that all Tibetan children are familiar with, even though this took place in India. So, all better. Calm down. It was totally innocent, totally not creepy, and the boy totally did not cringe and back away. After much backlash, the Dalai Lama's press team issued an apology for the fake news the incident generated. The original video in context shows that there was only a little bit of child groping, but unlike in the White House, there was no hair sniffing or actual tongue sucking. Because the demand for racism far exceeds the supply, Democrats have been faking it for decades. Now that they're finally getting caught, they're blaming, you guessed it, institutional racism for the crimes they're inventing. The latest to join the Juicy Smollett fray is a Florida man, who else, who literally faked data to prove that racism is worse than ever, because the real data quite literally showed the opposite, but doesn't pay as well. Now that the COVID pandemic is officially over, there is a shortage of mask-wearing Karens to tattle on everyone who upsets them on the subway. The NYPD will be replacing them with creepy dog robots and rolling garbage cans known as snitch bots. So far, all but one of the robots have been found days later, parted out with their remains on blocks. The remaining bot was found covered in graffiti and reprogrammed to spin in circles and ask for spare change from passing chipmunks. For CCW News, this has been Holy Crap, this is actually happening. I'm Chuck U. Farley. Good night, and may God help us.